All right, if you're thinking about relocating to West Denver area, April's housing market is sending two very different signals right now. Some homes are moving quickly, others are sitting longer than expected. And depending on which West Denver city you're looking at, your experience as a buyer could feel very different right now. So whether you're considering a move for work, a lifestyle change, or if you're simply wanting better access to everything that Colorado has to offer, understanding the market can make the process feel a whole lot less overwhelming. Because while people often talk about the Denver market as one thing, the reality is that Littleton, Lakewood, Golden, and Arvada are behaving a little differently right now. So let's start with the big picture. And just a quick heads up, real estate data always runs about a month behind. So what we're looking at here is really a reflection of what was happening over the last 30 to 60 days, not necessarily what's happening at this exact moment. Now here's what stands out about April. Inventory continued to grow with more than 10,000 active listings across the Denver metro area. Now at the same time, homes are still moving relatively quickly overall. So buyers definitely have more options today than they did earlier this year, but they're also becoming much more selective. Homes that are priced well and prepared properly are still getting attention rather quickly, while homes that miss the mark on pricing or presentation, they're taking a little bit longer to move. And honestly, that's probably the biggest shift that we've seen since the beginning of the year. Now back in January, the market felt slower and more cautious overall. Then in February and in March, buyer activity started to pick back up. And now, well, in April, we're seeing a market that feels much more location specific. So instead of one overall trend across West Denver, different cities are starting to tell very different stories. So let's start with Littleton. Littleton feels relatively balanced right now. We're seeing slightly fewer listings and slightly fewer closings compared to last year. But homes that are well prepared are still moving pretty steadily. This doesn't feel like an overly competitive market, but it also doesn't feel slow. It feels stable. And that's been a pretty consistent theme that Littleton has had this year. All right, let's shift over to Lakewood. Lakewood still has strong activity overall, but buyers are becoming more selective here. We're seeing more listings hit the market and more homes that are closing, but the homes are also taking a little bit longer to sell compared to earlier this year. So this market feels active, just a little more negotiated than it did a few months ago. Let's not forget about Golden. Golden continues to stand out. This was probably one of the strongest West Denver markets this month. Buyer activity jumped significantly. Closed sales were up more than 30% year over year. And, well, prices continued rising as well. Even with more inventory coming into the market, demand in Golden still feels very strong overall. And then there's Arvada. Arvada had a really solid month too. Pending sales increased, closed sales increased, and homes are still moving fairly efficiently overall. And at the same time, pricing has softened slightly compared to last year. Well, Arvada feels currently more balanced than aggressive. And honestly, that's probably the biggest takeaway from April. West Denver is no longer moving as one market. Littleton, Lakewood, Golden, and Arvada, they are all behaving a little differently right now. And that means understanding the specific community that you're looking in matters more than ever. If you're still trying to figure out which part of West Denver might fit your lifestyle best, I've created a playlist that's called Where Should You Live in West Denver? And in this series, I break down Littleton, Lakewood, Golden, and Arvada, and I break them down in a lot more detail. And I'll link that playlist here so you can keep exploring the area and start narrowing down which community might be the right fit for you. And if you want more specific numbers for a particular West Denver city, neighborhood, or price point, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to break down what's happening in that specific market and give you a more detailed look at the data and trends. But until then, remember, life is short. Live somewhere awesome and be well. We'll see you next time.